Welcome back to the Natives in America podcast. It's me and Sky here, and today we're not having a guest. We're just kind of doing a subject, and I'll let Sky here introduce his idea for today's subject.
Great setup. Oh man!
I just dropped it in your lap, right?
Yeah, I know. This is training on the spot. Trying to think of an idea what to talk about today, and me and my personal work, I've been dreading training because we can kind of do them at our own time, and I've maximized that time to where they're like, get that training done, to where it's almost put aside what you're supposed to be working on and get the training done. So there's always been that term, and I was thinking of too, like orientation, and these sort of spaces where sometimes it seems like you're going through the motions, but then other times, you are actually getting certified, or I think of like CPR training, stuff where you actually feel you're going to be, not to say you're going to use it, but it's like, it might be a little bit more exciting opposed to training of just hearing someone talk, or training doing a multiple choice test or something like that, to where I'd rather do the exciting training, but that's not always the case. So I don't know, the term and how in our jobs we do need training. I guess putting it off is not really a bad, or it might be a bad thing, but then I guess sort of depending on what where you're working at, or what you do. I guess there's always some form of training happening, even with everything with this, pandemic, that's kind of a lot of on the spot training, sort of, how to move and certain restrictions and stuff. So I don't know, it's just education, and even going to school almost kind of sounds like training. So I guess usually when we dissect words and stuff, we come out in a whole different idea. But I just kind of wanted to bring it to the table, and maybe Benjamin has a different take on the term, but sometimes I dread training because you gotta do it, and sometimes I'm the opposite of that. Like, I want to do things on my own time, but then again, I'm being lazy because I don't know. But then somewhere down the line, I just gotta do it and shut the hell up and fess up and suck it up and get it done, which I am doing. But what are your thoughts on what I just said, or anything we mentioned before?
Well, right now at my work, we have weekly training, and the funny thing about it is we do it so often, it's almost like it's a store-wide requirement. So if you don't do it, somebody gets yelled at, and then shit rolls downhill, and then eventually it gets to me. We're like, hey, you gotta go do your training. And I've been working at this place for like it's gonna be 3 years in a couple of days, February 20-something, and I've been there so long doing basically the same shit. Like I've bounced around on different jobs within the same place. Like I've done I've done an unload team. I've done overnight recovery and garden, and I've done. We did this like whole reset thing where we were tearing down all the displays and moving them around the store and trying to, I guess, improve how the store works according to, I guess, like a set list that came from the store. And at this point, I've done so much that I don't feel I need any more training. Like I work overnight almost every time, and really, the training's like store-wide. Everybody does it, and it's geared towards customer service. And for the most part, I don't deal with customers. Like I don't work with customers. Like occasionally, I'll see somebody wandering around and they look helpless, and I go over and help them find what they need. And I think that's just what you're supposed to do. And I don't think I need training for that. Now, it's because overnight, like, I don't use it. I don't use those skills. And when you don't use skills, especially any kind of training skills, they just kind of go away, or you forget them or whatever. And I forgot so much stuff. Like, occasionally I'll run into a customer that needs specialized help, and I wind up just sending them to customer service. I don't like sit down and try to work out their problem, because a lot of the times it's like, fuck, I don't remember how to do that, or I never learned that. And that's where lack of training starts to come into play. But like a lot of the work I do is zero time sensitive. So it's like when I get to the store, it's like, all right, do I sign in and get right to work, or do I sign in or clock in and then go and do my training? And nine times out of 10, let's say 9.99999% of the time, I'm going to go straight to work and just start doing what I already know I need to do. And what happens is I lose shit like that. Like, I miss it. And it shows, but only on days when I deal with like a, kind of a specific customer, and that really happens. So it's like, there's training that you absolutely need, like if you're going into a profession, like you said, CPR training. I've done that. Like high. I think it was called caregiver CPR, and I think I did first aid as well, and I did like ambulance tactics and stuff, and all of that was exciting. It was fun to do. Like I couldn't help but do the training and practice and do all that, because it was something I was really looking forward to and enjoyed and was proud of. And so I worked my ass off to do those things and practiced it again and again. And that training stuck with me. It's still with me now. And you mentioned enthusiasm for what you're doing. Like, I always feel like the training at work, it's not like I'm too good for it. It's just it's like super high levels of math. I haven't come across regular life situations where I use super high level math. So it's like, all right, I don't use that training, so it's just it's eroding in my mind, and I often wonder, like, all right, what was that all for? And I don't even think I have a point I'm getting to here. I'm just saying, like that's the training I'm doing right now, and this is my feeling about it. If you're not going to use it, if you're not enthusiastic about it, it's kind of pointless. Which is why 99.99% of the time I just go to work. Like, it's like, I'm going to finish this, and when I do knock out the training, it's usually quick and immediate to solve the issue, which is the corporation that I work for. They got paperwork and it says, oh, this person's meeting their numbers.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just like this soulless, I think pointless sometimes, pursuit. Like there's training you seek out, and then there's training that just, everybody has to do. Like we all got to learn our ABCs. We all got to learn math. We all got to learn to speak. We all got to learn to wipe our asses. That's all training. That's all we do our entire life. It's a form of learning, and you know, some you wind up using, and some just goes by the wayside, and you never quite know which it is. You know, which situation you're in.
Yeah.
And fuck, there's so much training I did do that I never got to use, or just, you know, it's slowly leaking out of my brain and getting replaced with new stuff.
Mm.
Do you have a training in mind that you really enjoyed and you still use to this day?
It kind of, well, you know, I'm actually kind of like laughing because a memory popped in my head of working at Bash's as a courtesy clerk.
Oh yeah.
And
courtesy clerk.
I think at the time one of my relatives were working there and they needed somebody, so I already had turned into act, so you know they were just kind of like, "You want the job?" Yeah, and then they just say, "Go in the back, you know, there's a VCR, TV, and VHSs of like, you know, all these different like."
Wow.
They teach about I I guess they tell you about the mission statement of the corporation, and but then there were like tapes on like how to bag and stuff, but like I watched them because they told me to watch them, but then in reality of it, you know, they just wanted me to start bagging as soon as I could because they needed somebody. So it was like, you know, the training is going to be like on the job, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of that too was just, oh, you have extra time, you want to learn how to sort the bread, or you want to help the other guys do the sodas, and it was just kind of like, I mean, I might have did more than enough training, you know, but I was just excited to be working, but I guess not so much the lack of training, but just, like you said, everything we do is training, so, ever since I was little, my mom has given me a list of chores to do, and come home, knock out the chores, so it's like, you know, I can work at a grocery store.
Yeah, and apparently that was training to keep you from being a slob. You got to take care of your house and take care of your yard and take care of yourself. Right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I think so. But like an exciting training where I'm like, damn, I'm never gonna forget this. I mean, we do have interesting trainings. I think the training I'm not liking is the stuff where it's on the computer.
Yeah.
And you gotta actually sit down and knock out those they call it modules and stuff. But
yeah, exactly.
We did do a cool training called motivational interviewing, where it's like, you know, someone you're talking with, questions that, I mean, pretty much the questions they're saying is, you know, it's what the information that they're giving you to where, you know, you're not really trying to, I guess it's like a method in counseling where you're listening to what they're saying, and then the questions that you're generating are more, you know, specific to what they're saying. So you're not really like, you know, trying to do this elaborate method of trying to break down what's happening. You know, they're pretty much telling you. You're just keeping it flowing. But yeah, I mean, but then I also think of this one time when I first went to school and they have orientations. There's like all these kids, and they have a speaker, and me just not really, usually not getting enough sleep, and just not being able to sit down in one spot. I would usually fall asleep in my orientations, and like I don't know, I don't like so sometimes things are not as exciting.
Yeah.
So, I think sometimes I look for the exciting things to do first, and maybe put off the not so exciting things and dread it because I kind of put them off.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about what it was wildland firefighting training, and there was one part that always stuck with me, and what they called it was shake and bake, and what it was if a fire, like when you were ever cutting line on a crew, like you'd be going out and you'd be cutting this big wide strip of land where there's no grass and there's no fuel. So when the fire comes, hopefully it doesn't jump that line because you've created like a spot where the fuel doesn't continue. And they'd always have a watcher watching the crew fight, and they'd be watching the fire. And so they're like way up on a hill, maybe within a quarter mile away. They're looking down on the crew and they're watching the fire, like what's it doing right now. And occasionally, the fire would change direction, like maybe the wind would turn or something, and then the fire would do something unpredictable. And that's what the watcher was watching for. But what would happen every now and then is the fire would come down so fast that there'd be no escape. And that's where the shake and bake comes in. There's every single firefighter has, or at least wildland firefighters, they have a it kind of looked like the tinfoil blankets, that they like the space blankets.
Oh yeah.
Or like all the little emergency kits have like a really tightly folded up little foil blanket, and it was like that, but a little more heavy duty, and there was like a shape cut out to it. And it looked basically like a body bag, but it was open on the bottom. And what you would do is you go and try to clear out a quick little area as quick as you could, like cut out a little area where there's no fuel, and meaning grass or trees or whatever. You try to find like a clearing, and if there's no escape, everybody opens up these bags. They lay on the ground. They pull the bag over your head. And you wait while the fire burns over you. Like it burns over the top of the bag. And because it looked like foil, that was the whole shake and bake thing. It was like you were at a baked potato.
Oh.
So it was kind of shaped like that. The oven would burn over you. And you just cover up. And they said it would be extreme heat, and there'll probably be little holes in the bag that you would feel extreme heat, like burning you on the back, like it would, like just the infrared heat. The actual heat would come through, and they tell you hold the bag super tight, you stretch out your body, you hold it to the ground, because when a fire burns through, it's creating all this like upward drafts, and it could rip the bag off you. And they always tell you, no matter how hot it is in the bag, you don't open it up because it's going to be 10 times hotter outside. And I remember we did a training part, and it was like, we're going to practice this just to see, just so you can prove that you understand the concept. So they gave us the bag. They start a timer like, hey, the fire's on its way, start now. And you'd open the bag, you'd pull it out, you'd unwrap it, you'd fold it out, and then you'd climb into it and then lay down on the ground, stretch out. And then somebody would come by and yank on the ends to make sure you're holding it down tight enough. And I remember just the thought of that. Like when we were actually doing the training, man, my heart was pounding. Like just, there was terror involved. The whole thought of a fire burning over me. Of course there was no fire. But it's like, all right, this could happen. And that was one of those like, wow, this is a real this is the real deal. They're basically giving us a one last chance training on the possibility that we might be burned alive. You know, it's like it was real. That I guess that's what I'm getting at, is it was real training. It wasn't like, oh, what to do when your customer prefers paper over plastic. It was more like, if you don't want to die, if a fire's coming and you can't do anything about it, this is your last ditch effort to save yourself. So that was exciting training, and at the same time it was scary, and at the same time it was life and death, and at the same time it will always stay with me. Like whenever the fire season comes around, like every now and then you'll hear a story. There was a recent one where a whole crew got burned.
Oh shit!
You know, it was actually here in Arizona, I think, and I remember that. I always go back to that. Like, fire season comes and I think about it. Like, it never goes away out of the back of my mind, and I always think about that. Like, even the situation that happened, I was like, man, I wonder if they even had time to do that. You know? So it's crazy. It's that was some serious training. And like, when I think about that versus, you know, doing your mods, sitting on a computer, dozing off, you know, that's the stuff I lose. Like, I'll be sitting there and there'll be like a crap ton of reading, and it'll be module after module, and you're sitting there and you're not working, you're just sitting in a quiet training room clicking on the thing, and like, yeah, that sounds preferable, you know. It's like, I'd rather be safe than facing down a fire. But in reality, like, I'd be like, man, I'd rather be out there in the woods seeing something, experiencing something, something moving. And when I do computer training, I'm not into it. I'll be sitting there, and I've dozed off multiple times before, you know, doing that kind of training. And I always kind of wonder about it, like, fuck, like, I wonder how much that stuff will stick if I've just been nodding off through it, you know, reading the same paragraph, starting it over and over again. So,
yeah.
I guess my point is there's a huge difference between the types of training that's out there and whether or not it's you're enthusiastic enough to keep it or to even do it.
Yeah, that's true.
What oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that. I was like, that's like so true. But like, I guess like doing it on a computer is sort of this mass way of like everyone can do it now, opposed to like learning from somebody that's just right there, like showing you where everything's at that you need to know to do the job. Like, that almost sounds more exciting than, here, set up this computer and try to get as many right answers as you can.
Yeah.
To demonstrate you're gaining some new knowledge that we're presenting, which is what it is.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I don't know, because I remember when I first worked at Kyoto Bowl, it was like this fast food Japanese place in Tempe. It was like
Kyoto Bowl.
The lady was just like showing me where things were, but she didn't let me like start serving the customers for like maybe a few days in. She was just pretty much just like telling me where things were, and
yeah.
I mean, but like I didn't consider that training. I was just, I mean, it felt like I was working, but yet she called it training, you know. So I guess maybe I just I need that attention, and I don't get that type of attention from a computer.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honest tones, you know?
Yeah. Well, I keep thinking about what you said about on-the-job training. There are different types of people out there. They learn with their hands, or they learn by listening, or they learn by reading. You know, and I guess the hands is the doing part, like you're learning by doing. I think a lot of people pick up on that, and then there's a group of people that like they have to read it, otherwise it doesn't go. Like, do you have a preference like that works for you?
I mean, yeah, I think when they say hands on, but yeah, I think just kind of getting thrown into the fire is probably the best way.
Yeah, I agree.
But it always seemed like, when I worked at UPS, that training was like, it was like hardcore, where it was like, if you're not here on time, you're out, so it was like, it's almost like demonstrating you can I don't know, sort of get to their fire. And, because once you got the job, it was like, there was constant, like, safety training, and so it was always like, you really had to watch what you were doing, because so easily you could make a big mistake, and it was like, it fell on everybody. So that kind of training was like, it worked because, like, if everyone was safe, because that was a big thing with them, was safety.
Are you talking about UBS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, it kind of felt like we were constantly being tested on our training.
Yeah.
But like, if we did a good job, it was like they rewarded us, but it was all kind of tied into just doing what they wanted right, doing it in the right way. So I don't know. I guess the training where you're actually gonna use the knowledge that you're given. But I mean, it was weird because they incentivize you, like if your whole crew was safety free, they brought you donuts. Then it's like if everyone was safe, they grilled up burgers. So it was always like,
nice.
I don't think I was motivated by food.
That's a pretty good motivator.
Yeah, bro, right?
Free food at work. I always like that.
Yeah. But I'm not too sure if I fully understand what you're asking. But yeah, it feels like I
think I was asking your preference.
I mean, I'd rather go somewhere and sign up and.
Well, that's interesting.
Opposed to
training to travel.
You ever been to a conference or something where you're actually going to, I don't know, be tested? I'm not tested on something, but there's just all these different speakers and stuff. Like I think that's interesting training, but sometimes it seems like it's kind of hard for that to happen. But even now, like with the pandemic, I don't even know what conferences look like now. Because we used to go to some, but I don't even think they're having them now.
Oh yeah.
I guess I like those kind of, like where you're actually going somewhere.
How much of that is the going somewhere part that's desirable about it?
I think that's all of it. I don't know. I guess in the job I've been working at, it's more exciting if we get to leave our workspace.
Yeah. No,
and go somewhere.
Little change of scenery.
Yeah. Like a hotel or something, or a casino.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's the end goal right there, right?
yeah, I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, definitely. I didn't even think about that. Travel or training with travel.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Nah, I mean, I guess go and travel. I'm all in, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's. I don't know. I mean, getting to leave or go somewhere, it sounds more significant if you're getting training, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but I always thought it was cool, like in the Matrix, where like, you know they could just program a skill.
Oh yeah,
like you can learn how to fly the helicopter in like a matter of seconds because that would be awesome.
Yeah. No, that was really cool. I always liked that concept. It's like, I know Kung Fu now. Yeah, I think I know Kung Fu. No, that was really cool. I liked that. I mean, what a concept! Like, what's a trip is that might be coming. There's several companies out there right now trying to integrate computers with the brain, like Neuralink. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Elon Musk. He's partners, or he might be the owner. I don't know, the sole proprietor of something called Neuralink. And the whole idea is it's like they're putting a computer in your brain to interface with it the way you do with your phone, but much quicker and easier. And like once we hit that level, I'm thinking the training will be that easy.
I mean, like, imagine, like, you know how you put your computer down, or you shut it down and it updates. Like, what if we, like, when we slept, like, all the training we needed was just sort of a part of that.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. But it might make work more tolerable. Like, oh, you did your training last night.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Just check that box off. It's already done. Yeah, man. I had some Z's today and knocked out that training.
Yeah. Aced it
in my sleep. Literally, I literally could do it in my sleep.
Man, if that were possible, what skill?
Helicopter.
You do a helicopter?
For sure. Helicopter, maybe weapons training. Basically everything in the Matrix. I want to be able to fucking kick ass, shoot guns, fly a helicopter, jump off a building, ride a motorcycle off a semi-truck into the middle of a freeway. You know, the essentials. It's stuff you all need.
Yeah, die hard, pretty much the die hard attitude. I think it would be pretty cool to do like ping pong, like table tennis. Like just amp up my skill to where you're hardcore, in the Olympics.
All right,
play some ping pong.
The interesting thing about that though is once that technology trickles down to us, once you're upping your ping pong game, there'll be other people with upped ping pong game. I mean, there's people like that already, but it's like, damn, once you have it, competition would be ridiculous.
Wow.
Dude, this kind of talk always brings me back to cyborgs and robots.
Yeah.
And artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of chess books lately because I play chess, but I'm it's on and off, and I feel like I don't really know the full game, but I still. And I'm listening to this book, and the guy's talking about like strategy and and just kind of always constantly testing that strategy and adding new elements to it. And it's just like you're constantly trying to evolve your game.
Yeah. Do you play?
Yeah, I play, but not as often. And yeah, I'm not as often as I should. Like I play online, and then a few times I'll play with whoever.
When you play online, is it like an app or something?
Yeah, it's an app.
If you'll tell me about whatever that is later, I'll look it up. I'll play you.
Oh yeah, all right. No, I'll figure that out. But yeah, I know I know there's a few things I don't know about it, but like I think it's a pretty cool game. But yeah, just what you were talking about, I was thinking of chess and like, amping my skill up in chess, but then just kind of still being like, there's like prodigies and like kids that I just know that game so well that, you still might not have a chance. You still might. But yeah, no, I would want to learn surfing. Like if I could just
that'd be cool.
Program and be a like bomb ass surfer. I mean, we don't have an ocean to practice on, so I can't really like just go and practice.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe I could, but I don't really know.
Well,
I have cool runnings.
Yeah, right.
That bobsledding in the desert, yeah.
I think I would do surgery.
Oh shit. And just like overnight be able to cut open someone's.
Yeah.
Like what kind of surgery?
Probably heart surgery.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Heart or brain? Like the brain's kind of cool, but like there's such high stakes. I don't want a part of that. I guess the heart is too, but it's like the brain is still mysterious.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about it now. I'm all quiet. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's some jobs where, like, in another lifetime, like, I wouldn't mind trying that. Or interesting of how does that work for them. Bullfighting always kind of had an interesting, like, just kind of what that all entails, but like if that could be a training, I would dive into that one.
Huh.
But then like I was thinking more like in Vegas they have a lot of like street performers, and I mean that's kind of like their living, but like I don't know if I could do that. Like nothing against it, but it just seems odd. Not odd. I'm not putting it down or anything. Maybe it's a bravery thing where I don't know if I'm brave enough to be a street performer. But I don't know if that could be a skill.
Brave enough to be a street performer. I've seen some pretty badass people out there. Like a dude, this one dude was out there with he's probably out there now. He had a electric guitar and a looper.
Oh yeah.
He would just make songs with the looper, and they were badass.
So I guess it's more what you're doing versus the actual. I mean, you say it like that. Yeah, I think I could play a guitar and loop it and stuff, but like the guy that's like all silver and he's like a robot, or like people that like do miming and stuff. Like, I don't know. It seems like too difficult.
Dude, every time I think I know your mind, you say something like that. Like that's what you're after, is to paint yourself gold and go be a street performer. And that you're too terrified about that's the high level for you. That's the high stakes. You always surprise me, man. Like when you bring these subjects up, I'm like, what subject you want to do today? You throw out something like being nice. I was just like, what? Being nice. It sounded so ridiculous until we did it. And I was like,
yeah. No, I won't want to. Still want to revisit all that. Because sometimes I say that still, and I'm like, I know what I mean, but why do I say that?
I'm wondering about like physical training. Like I actually wouldn't mind learning to do parkour. And then I've seen like really high level break dancers where they're doing like air acrobatics and backflips, and they're like spinning on one hand, or they're on their head, and they're just doing this shit that without a shit ton of training and some kind of know-how, you would never be able to do that. You would never do that in your life. There's people that never do that, and I just think that's impressive. Yeah, just pure acrobatics and like these jumps that people survive because they're, they've been training the whole time. It's really cool. Like that would be cool to learn. You ever watch YouTube and you watch they have like downhill bike races?
Oh yeah.
I've only ever seen like there's city ones, and then there's ones like out in nature, and I like watching I don't know if they're Red Bull videos or not, but they're like headsets, and they're just driving down the alleyways like super fucking fast, and they build like platforms for them to like do a hard turn, so they like drive up the wall, and then they're like going downstairs and just looping downhill like super fucking fast. Like I love watching that. And that shit, if I were to just pick up something that was really fucking fun to do, like that looks like a lot of fun.
Are you talking about the actual bicycle? Like the BMX bikes? Are you talking about like a motorcycle dirt bike?
No, they're on like dirt bikes. Not without engines.
Okay.
So like a off-road bike.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, those are tight too when they're going like a steep ass mountain and.
Yeah. Just flying through the air, landing incredible lands, So back to robots, like on that level, like I feel like we're limited by our bodies and our lifespan. You know what I mean? Like at some point we are gonna die, like in a long enough timeline, and like I always think about space travel and how even if we wanted to go to like the closest star, the closest galaxy, it's so far away you would never survive the trip. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like hundreds of thousands of years away, and they say like light years, and that's like a year. How far light will travel at the speed of light in a year, I think is what it is. And the concept of the speed of light is the maximum speed anything could ever go. And that's how far away these galaxies are. And like we're looking for planets everywhere, and it's like, fuck, will we ever in our lifetime, probably not in our lifetime, but somebody's lifetime in the history of humans might see it one day. You know what I mean? And I think about robots, like with proper energy sources, robots can, go on forever. And I like to think of training like drones and robots, cyborgs, whatever, like exploratory drones to go out to all these planets that we can't get to. They don't have to eat; they just have to charge, that kind of stuff. Like, I kind of feel like at some point the human race will reach its end because it can't go any further. And I feel like I think I brought it up before on this. If we start putting everything into robots and supporting the robots, like we could become the robots, like our consciousness. I think that's more what Neuralink was it copies your consciousness to a computer. And I just think once we hit that level where we're no longer able to die, I think then we would appreciate being human just that little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the more important to be human and have that short lifespan so you can appreciate, those little things that we take for granted.
Yeah. Damn. But then, humans aren't robots.
Yeah, we're not.
Or robots aren't human.
Yeah, they're not. But, as we're seeing happen, we're getting implants. And we're working on, like, not just them, man. There's a bunch of companies out there. They're working on it.
Yeah.
What I find to be really trippy is, like, if you can think of an idea, then it's like having a birthday. Everybody has this, you'll share your birthday with thousands of people, millions. I don't know the numbers, but so if you have an idea, then there's a shit ton of other people that have that idea, and then it's almost like something you would think is impossible is and that will never change. And then one day somebody says, "Well, I'm going to figure it out," and then they do it, and it all started with the thought. Somebody said, "What if this were this? What if we could do this? What if we could use this device to do this?" And things that seem impossible, like on the Matrix, and I think I watched Johnny Mnemonic, which is funny because it's also Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
But it was about implants, like futuristic worlds where we have cybernetic, like, links to computers in our brains and in our bodies. And maybe that will be the end of death. And it might take exiting our bodies.
Wow. That's heavy.
It's super heavy. This is the kind of stuff that I think about all the time. The farthest reaching thought I've had was, if we build robots and then we start dying off, we start, like, when we stop using a skill, it kind of fades away out of our DNA. Like, it's almost like the appendix. Doesn't really serve a purpose now, but at some point it did. And, we stopped using it, so that it just kind of became obscure. It's still in the body, but it's still in the DNA, but it doesn't do anything. It's kind of like that. Like, we may grow to no longer, like, think about how all of us are, like, on dating apps and all that, and, like, looking around, it gets harder and harder and kind of stranger and stranger to try to go out in the world and find somebody and mate, make more children, make more people. And I feel like at some point, if we don't watch it, like, I was thinking about the introduction of, like, sex robots. And if a crap ton of people find it easier to start having a relationship with like a programmable robot versus a human being with all our problems and all our like neuroses, will people at some point, like farther down the line, stop producing people? And then our last hope could be robot producing, and then robots will be like what we gave birth to, and it'll be the next like evolution. You know, what goes beyond us. It's heavy stuff. I feel like I'm just ranting now.
I don't. I mean, I'm with you there, somewhat, but then just sort of like birthing a robot, sort of.
Oh.
Do they?
I mean, conceptually.
No, I mean, yeah, I know that, but like
Well, the idea is somebody's gonna die, and they want to copy their consciousness onto a computer.
Oh, okay.
So say, oh, Grandpa's going to die. We don't want him to die, but he's going to. But we want to keep him. They record him. They take his consciousness, and now Grandpa is a memory box. And then down the road, oh, we want Grandpa to not just be this non-acting, immobile box. We want him to walk around. So then they take this consciousness and they put it in a robot. Now, robots, they're already being made, and by the time we can copy a person's consciousness, robots will be way further than what they already are. And then now you got a consciousness robot walking around, and he's Grandpa now. And Grandpa can jump 30 feet in the air and, you know, lift a car off a baby or whatever. Like, he can do incredible things.
So, two separate robots with their own consciousness, somehow they can create a new consciousness?
Well, at some point, the robots will be able to build themselves, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about
as long as they got material. Well, I'm not talking about an actual birth. I'm saying, like, just by making the ability to create consciousness, a computer consciousness, just that ability is us giving birth to that technology. And then that will give birth to Grandpa being on a box. And then when our robots get good, being able to attach Grandpa to the robot will be the birth of that new thing. I guess evolution would be the better word than birth. Biological is a tricky word in this concept. I was going to say the next biological evolution, but it'll be a robot. And so think about a society where we have a bunch of dead people walking around, they're robots, and a bunch of people that are still human, still brand new, and then they die, and then say something comes down and wipes out humans. Like say it's a gas gets released. The humans will die, the robots won't. And now those are the consciousness, that's the consciousness of us that's still there. So then, you know, it's like, all right, we can't produce children anymore, but we can make more robots. And then we start creating personalities like that. And what I'm saying is, on a long enough timeline, if this stuff gets out of hand, at some point there may be no more humans, and being a human is only a concept. It's no longer a thing.
Wow. Do you think there's enough material?
Huh?
You think there's enough material for all them robots? Or are we going to have to, like, not... We're going to be limited on robots?
Well, to quote Dr. Ian Malcolm, life finds a way.
What is the capacity for robots in the world?
Dude, if if we weren't here producing all this crap, I wonder. So I mean, I kind of feel like robots would be like us and be users, but I'm like, say an AI takes over, and it is controlling the robots now, and it's using its logic versus our logic, and it's starts cleaning up the planet. You know, so suddenly,
you think they'll fix the planet versus destroy it worse than we already destroyed it?
Well, I hope. Man. I don't know. Maybe they'll be like the Borg, you know? Star Trek.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like, when we talk about their consciousness, like, they're transferring consciousness to a robot to where now they have their own personality and their own goals or their own whatever mission or whatever it is they're doing now that they're technically now pretty much zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, are they going to do a better job than we did? Because, I don't know, I guess it's just like, yeah, I guess what we think of a robot is, it might not look like that, might look a little different.
Yeah. Well, think about Agent Smith on The Matrix. He called us a virus. We go to an area, we use up all the resources, and then we go somewhere else. And we're spread. We populate. That was a really interesting concept when he brought that up. It was just like, wow, like, yeah, we kind of do. And then you got to think, and I think robots combined with artificial intelligence is inevitable. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always going to try to mesh them. I just don't know if we're going to get clever enough to talk about what you're talking about, because that's like, I don't know, that's kind of like accepting that, you know, that the robot is more than a robot, you know, like, has intentions, it has I don't want to say morals. Is that what it's going to, the morals go out the window when, with robots, you know, like, do they got a whole different honor code that they go by, opposed to, like, regular humans, you know? It's kind of...
The 3 laws of robotics.
I don't know any of those. But, like, I guess it's just kind of... To me, it sounds like man versus machine.
Right? It sounds threatening, doesn't it? Isn't it a little scary?
Well, you know, like, how we talk about it now, where, like, we're scared because the kids are getting more better than us, and then suddenly now they're in our house and, you know, eating all the food, you know, or up. I don't know, I can just imagine a robot coming into my house and just, you know, shaving me out, you know, cleaning the, like, I don't know, just, I guess having robots around is that lower the experience of humans, you know? I mean, imagine having a robot maid and you don't have to do any of your chores. It sounds good, but sometimes I want to do my chores.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. Sometimes I think that's what keeps me human is like, oh, I gotta wash the dishes. Because, you know, they're just gonna stay there, you know? Some human has to do them. But if suddenly the robot's doing it, then, you know, what am I doing with that time?
That's interesting. So, some people would say you would be out vacationing while the robot worked. And some would say you'd be sitting there all depressed because you don't get to wash your dishes. You know what I mean? I think you're touching on the very basis for the fear of, the war against the machines. You know what I'm saying?
So.
I think you're touching on the very basis idea for the war. You know, it's like, hey, we got to go to war to keep it human.
Mm.
Which is interesting.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm just saying in the sense of, it's already hard. Man, I've been kind of wrestling with this concept, and I've been listening to this artist her name's Gia Margaret, and she's this cool folk singer, and she has a song called Babies, and she's talking about her grandmother telling her to you should have stayed in school because you're gonna find someone to get you pregnant and give you babies. And that was kind of like the mentality at that time, further back in time, like in the 50s, where people were going to college to just hook up or meet the father of their kids.
Yeah.
So there's always this judgment of where you should be and what you should be doing and the biological clock of both females, males, however that you see it, but for a robot to kind of be thrown into the mix of that, it's just sort of damn, it's difficult enough to be a human right now, and now this human's coming in and supposedly making things easier, and I feel threatened because it's doing everything better that I should be doing, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's do we base the robot's existence? We compare it to our abilities as people or humans, so it's kind of damn, we made this human, but it's so much better. It's made me self-conscious about myself now.
Yeah. It's a freaky thought. A little part of me has dread. There's a little bit of dread in the back of my mind of what that would look like. How you would deal with that,
Yeah.
And I think again, there's two schools of thought. There's the ones that believe this is going to be the end of the world for us or the end of humans, and another school of thinking that says they're going to improve our lives entirely and make everything better.
Mm.
And I don't know if this is an argument that can be won here, or that we can argue one or the other. There's probably, now that we all have diverging ideas of the way the country should be run. We all are on the fence about different things, and we're all independent entities from each other's, and in that future time, there'll probably be the same amount of differences in, I guess, robot progress,
and
I guess human progress at the same time. Where will we be? Maybe the robots will have all these abilities, and then we as humans will start doing cybernetic stuff where we'll have the same abilities too. And then where will we be? Will that ever be a level playing field once it reaches that ultimate point? The singularity. When a robot starts thinking for itself the way we want it to, like a human. And probably more, because it'll have quantum mechanics. It'll have extreme thought processing. Quantum computing, I think is the word.
Well,
I don't know. It fills me with a little bit of dread. I can definitely share that.
I mean, yeah. It's maybe because it's not happening tomorrow. It's like it's a little bit of like we know it's not coming, but then again, it's like it's kind of coming. To where you don't want to conform to a lot of shit that sounds crazy. It sounds like a Twilight episode where suddenly there's robots in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if like the president, like suddenly the president's a robot, or
yeah.
I don't know. It's just.
What?
I wonder if it's gonna be like worldwide, or is it just in certain areas, or.
What if like robots took over like the Arctic and the Antarctic? Like, what if they lived wherever we couldn't, and they became their own separate entity?
I don't know. Trade.
Yeah, right.
Do some trading.
This brings me back to DARPA, where they made a fucking robot that can be fueled or powered off of biomatter.
What's that?
People. Living organisms. So they made a robot that can eat people and derive power from it. I mean, they didn't say it like that. They said biomatter.
Oh.
And all I'm thinking is, like, why not something that works off of old plastic bottles? Like something that would be useful instead of something that's just going to eat all of us.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. Is it to eat people, or, like, I mean, it needs its feel, which is people. Like, what is it doing? I know what I mean? Like, is it doing something meaningful?
So the picture they painted, there was just a little blurb, and it said they would use it on the battlefield, and I got the impression that what they meant was it would be going around and eating dead bodies. And that creeps me the fuck out. Like, right away I was just like, why? Somebody thought about it, and then they made it a reality.
Yeah.
And once again, why? What if that technology gets out of hand? I think it was in Jurassic Park when they were saying you went ahead and built something without thinking about whether you should. You built it because you could, without ever thinking about whether or not you should.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just goes back to technology. Like, what do we... Yeah, we put all this shit into it, but, what are we getting out of it? And do those two things equal out, Or are we losing more? Are we gaining more, So, I remember that someone was saying that with, like, when they first invented, like, I think it was long distance, or, like, they're able to call in across the country, or, like, further than they had been able to call before, and they were trying to, like, say, like, yeah, this is a big deal, and someone was like, what did they say, It's like, it's not, it's almost not, it's not anything unless it's something that has a purpose. So, I don't know, are these robots going to have a better purpose than humans? I don't know. Do the robots even deserve to to have that option? I don't know. Maybe more anti-robot than I thought I was.
I was gonna say it sounds like you're a robot hater, my man. Like, do these robots even deserve to live?
I know, right, man? It's like a robot racist.
You're a robotist. Well, I think that's a good concept to end this on. I'm out of time again here, brother.
Interesting place.
Yeah,
Interesting place.
We started off with training, and here we are talking about robots eating people, and whether or not they should be allowed to exist.
They should make a robot that does training for you.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I would get on that robot. Oh man. Yeah. All right, man. Well. Heavy stuff, but still fun to think about.
Yeah. It's a little mind-blowing. I'll be thinking about this at work.
All right.
You got anything to say to the people?
Just be mindful of the technology and, someday robots are possibly going to be stealing your jobs. I don't know. I just say that. But,
good jobs, yeah.
Be nice to your devices.
Yeah. Be real nice to your phone. Because later on, it might run your life. If it might
attack you.
Yeah, it might come back with some badass arms and legs and just kick your ass. So, there you go. I like that. All right.
Like technology karma,
Yeah, there you go. Watch your back, people. They're out there. And they're listening. Okay. All right, brother. I'm going to hit that button.
All right. Cool.
Peace.